getting on to one of the surprise teams of 2024, a Final Four team. That was the Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Washington Football Team. Bring it back. They went 12-5 in 2024, and again, made the Final Four. Like I said, Jayden Daniels, quarterback, it's number 2 pick, went 1 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Really, really fun to watch. Nobody is tackling him still to this day. Jayden Daniels is still running past another defender, grasping for his ankles. But this was an offense that all of us are kind of high on, but also just have some questions, kind of a do it again, Kliff Kingsbury type of thing. But Kliff was I thought did a really nice job last year, adding layers to his offense. Thought they did some really cool things at an up tempo. Nobody runs more up tempo than them or will this year. So I just want to see that next step, that next layer of them next year. But for you, Charles, when you're watching this offense, what are you focusing on? What's kind of grabbing your attention? Do you have some question marks? You got Terry McLaurin still holding out. And Brian Robinson might be on the trade market or cut, apparently. But what are your big question marks for the Washington Commanders?
The Brian Robinson one is interesting, but I kind of don't get why they're trying to move him, but at the same time, like, it's not like I'm not gonna make a big fuss about like if they do feel like they want to move him, or if they will, like, he was the all average back, on our team this year. So
he was all average.
I can't let myself I can't have that and then let myself like get worked up about him, getting
right. I know
or getting cut.
I'm fine.
So, but still stay enough that I don't know. But with the guys behind him, I guess they seem high on Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt. They're 7th round.
He won't shut up about
year.
him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess he's good enough to just bail on Brian Robinson already. So we'll see what happens there. But obviously, like, the big thing here is to get Terry back. Please get Terry back. Like, you gotta, you need him. You need him because the offense outside, or I should say, like the pass games, catchers, the skill players over there, it's not that strong once you get past Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Like Deebo Samuel is not the player that he used to be. You're talking about like Noah Brown and Luke McCaffrey. Zach Ertz is still starting at tight end for you. It gets thin pretty quick. And then you're putting yourself in a spot where, maybe Terry's not like fully ready to go because he hasn't practiced, and there's more of a workload on Jayden Daniels, which, I mean, I think he showed last year he could do. I mean, watching Jayden, it's like if you play like Madden or new college football games out and you crank it up to a higher difficulty, call like a robot quarterback, where you got all the answers, but all of a sudden he's just done something to dip out the way and he's got a first down, or he's running and he's found someone open down the field. So Jayden's gonna find answers by himself, but it's just gonna get tough for him. It's gonna get tough for him if Terry's not there, because I just don't think they have. Like, where's the juice coming from if Terry's not on the field? Like, who's gonna be like a provider of big plays or even like consistent plays? Maybe Deebo in like the short area of the field, but like you already have Austin Eckler and this other running back you really like. I think Terry is such an imperative factor that they got to get him in as soon as possible to get practicing, because they need those reps together. We saw how crucial that was for them last year.
And this offense, Kliff Kingsbury's offense, and I know air raid connotations are a lot of like, mesh and receiver screens. Excuse me. And I know that is a part of this offense. It's going to be a big diet of this offense, but this offense needs size on the outside. We talked about those stop routes. But this offensive system, they had DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona, and then they made sure to go get AJ Green on the other side, two of the best ball winners of our generation, of our last 10, 15 years. Is because that's what they wanted. They wanted the static routes on the outside, vertical routes. Okay, we're going to go dunk on guys. Terry is great in that role. I think Terry and Jayden Daniels had some great chemistry, back shoulder, stop routes, especially in the red zone. I think I read somewhere, I want to say it was Barnwell, wrote it, that Terry McLaurin, when Jayden Daniels targeted Terry McLaurin in the red zone, he had 100 QBR. That means you're not losing. That means 100% of the time you're winning. When he targeted Terry McLaurin, they just had a great chemistry, and it was part of Jayden's throw style. Even at LSU and Arizona State, he likes targeting to the outside. He doesn't really work over the middle, but guess what? He can do the outside stuff really well. Helps when you have Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors, and then helps now when you had Terry McLaurin, who is good at that. Right. So it's just taking away one of the easy buttons of this offense, and I don't like that. I think that the offense is based on that relationship. That is their, like I just said, their easy buttons. 3rd and 8, throw a stop route. Hey, we're in the red zone, hit Terry again, or you run it, Jayden. And then you take that away. I do think it gets resolved, but it's just not great. It's not exactly what I'm really liking. And then I look
Yeah.
over there and it's like you said, it's Noah Brown or Luke McCaffrey on the other outside. You need another outside presence. Diami Brown's Diami Brown, but he did help in this offense, but based on his skill set. And Debo is Debo. Debo's a unique player. Do think he took a step back last year. But, and again, in this offense, so is that jet sweeps, him in the backfield. Okay, you can do some interesting stuff with that. But again, that's more of a sprinkling. I'm not basing my whole offense off of Debo. It's just more of like a fun package we can throw at teams and just change it up and make it hard on defenses as opposed to something that we're really coring in every single week. So it's just like everything I like, there's something about that I kind of, I'm looking squinting sideways. Like I like what they did with the offensive line. Okay, Laramie Tunsil didn't go right in Houston. Okay, he had a lot of mistakes, a lot of, just a lot of mental mistakes as well, false starts, all that stuff. He's still talented. He's still a left tackle, all pro
Right.
caliber left tackle. And then they drafted Josh Connerly, who I really like. So it's like, okay, yeah, you guys really helped the offensive line. You guys are learning. Okay, you're eating your vegetables. This is good. And then there's other things. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't, okay, all right, I guess that's okay. Like I like John Bates. I'm glad they brought him back, the blocking tight end, but he's still are targeting Zach Ertz a ton. It's fine safety
Yeah.
net, but it's
Yeah.
not like a needle mover. So it's I do think the offense will be solid, at the very least solid, potentially good. It's just I just still have question marks about them until maybe the season starts and I could see exactly what this vision is going to look like. This year 2 version of this coordinator, this quarterback, this offensive system, and everything. And also that
Yeah.
rookie running back that had drafted Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt.
Hmm.
Weird play history. Alabama State goes to New Mexico. Then he tries to transfer to Arizona, but then he tried to transfer back to Ole Miss, and then he went, "Oh no, actually, I'm going to Arizona." And then, due to eligibility issues stemming from an NCAA discrepancy regarding his jersey number 21 being used by another player after redshirting at Alabama State, he was not eligible to play last year. So he was
Oh,
he only went for like 100 yards total last year, and then
what does
didn't
it
play
even
only playing
mean?
the Shrine game. I don't know what that ruling is, so I'm really curious. I haven't read all the way into
Someone
it, but
wore
that's why
his
he fell.
jersey after he
And
was
then that led
redshirted.
to
Who
him
gives
being
a shit?
ineligible.
But he was redshirted,
NCAA,
so
man.
why can't someone else wear his jersey number? Who cares?
I don't know. I don't know, man.
I don't
I got look.
get
I
that
got to pull
one
up the
at
beast.
all.
Maybe I ask my guy Dane about this. Dane
Yeah,
Brugler.
but
I know, but
it is
he only had
it
13
is kind of
carries
interesting.
last
Like,
year. But
yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I
right,
think one thing with I get stuck on with this offense, and honestly, the whole team, uh, is you have that huge breakout performance last year where they go 12-5. I mean, shoot, we trashed them last August. We were
yep,
not Commanders supporters. We were pretty down on them, but they go 12-5. They get to the NFC title game. They got demolished there, but you still like had a run that no one really foresaw. But then, like when you're building for this season, I think you still see, oh, okay, there's still the remnants of a team that picked number 2 overall very recently,
right.
because they're thin, man. They're really thin. Like once you get past Terry, oh, this is shaky. Like the offensive line, like you have to go inject talent in there. Um, I just don't really think they added like enough depth this offseason, I guess, to make me like confident that they can just go out there and repeat last year. Now, luckily, like you have a quarterback who we saw last year can can pull
He's mouthwash.
pull
Yeah.
kind of tricks in the right, right. So even when things are going bad, like he's still gonna be able to figure stuff out, and that is like that alone can get you to top 10 offense. I just wonder if the ceiling's a little capped because of the depth.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I just I like the little things they did with the line. I always like when team adds to the line, doesn't chase, but then they chased, and then they also like the guy that helped make the offense go. They're playing around with. It's just okay. Let's just make this easy on us. Us trying to figure out what you're going to be. They had the fourth down luck as well, and that's again. I think they'll have some higher floor. It's like they raised their floor a little bit with some of these other guys, but then they just capped their ceiling a little bit and lowered their ceiling a little bit. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, let's talk about the defense because, like you said, that's part of why last year I had a lot of questions, and I still do on this defense. I don't think this defense has improved at all. It's really my big hangup with this unit. It's just who are you going to stop? And I think again that's why last year I was like, oh, I don't know if they can pull together these games. And even this offseason, they had so many 1-year contracts with all these vets. I was like, I'm curious who they decide is to bring back that they considered important. First guy they signed was Bobby Wagner. And I was like, okay, but I know Bobby Wagner got second team All Pro last year. And I'm not insulting
Yeah,
the
we're the,
legacy
we're
of
the, we're
Bobby
the, we're
Wagner.
the lone holdouts, I think, on that one.
It's, he's not a good player right now. And he's
Yeah,
downhill only.
just
He can
not. I
blitz a
don't
little
get
bit.
it.
He's just not. And it's weird to talk about such a legend, but he's not. It's easier to say when he doesn't get freaking All Pro, and then everyone goes, "Well, you got All Pro last year." It's like, but even that, I
Right,
know he
we
did, but
we just look insane. We look insane.
yeah, we
I
did.
know how we look, but he's just not a good linebacker anymore. He's not.
He's not.
He's a
And
negative
then, okay,
player.
Frankie Louva's next to him. Frankie Louva was a good football player, but he's unique. You have to use him in certain ways. Then up front, it's like Deron Payne's good. Johnny Newton's interesting, but then you sign Javon Kinlaw. Okay. And now we got 36-year-old Von Miller starting on the outside. Von Miller hasn't started since he tore his Achilles 3 years ago. He's 36. Nothing against the run. And then on the outside, okay, we trade for Marshawn Lattimore, who's volatile. Mike Sainristil, good player last year, but they bumped him to the outside. I pictured him as a slot, but a good, smart player. I like Sainristil a lot. And then they drafted Trey Amos, who I like, but has injury history. So it's just, again, I'm looking at their defense. I'm like, who's rushing the passer? Who's getting the sacks? And are you guys going to be able to be consistent against the run? Because I don't know who's dynamic. Payne's a good player, I should say that, but they're going against the run
Yeah,
because you don't have great size on the outside. So I'm just going to, and Bobby Wagner can't run. So I'll just run outside on this team all day and just make them tackle over and over. But sorry, I took the mic right away because I had to get into this defense. But what are you focusing on with this defense? Because if you can't tell, there's some stinkiness with it. And I love Dan Quinn. I really do. He's a great person. And he can get the most out of a lot of guys because he gets them playing fast. It's just I just have a lot of questions with this defense and exactly how they're going to attack offenses, and especially in this division too. So, what do you think about this
yeah.
unit?
Um, I I I I I think the personnel just feels kind of worse than last year.
Right.
Because I don't the swapping out John Allen for Kinlaw, I don't really get. You had
Yeah.
opportunities to go get a real pass rusher. I guess maybe you struck out. You got stuck with Von Miller, who, like as you said, at this point in his career is just not the same guy. What is kind of funny about their defensive line is it's all these guys that, and really the front seven, like that Dan Quinn liked or had in Atlanta at some point. You got
Yeah.
Eddie Goldman here, Sheldon Day. Was an undersized guy who was like in the Grady Jarrett draft. Carl Davis was another big athletic defensive lineman that didn't do anything. Duke Riley's on this team. kind of made me laugh a little bit. I was like, "Dang, the gang's all back together." But I unless Johnny Newton, the defensive tackle, unless he like really improves and like, just goes nuclear this year, I think it's just going to be tough for like Deron Payne to be like the everything man for this front seven.
Yeah.
Like he's a good player, but he's not Aaron Donald or
Right.
one of these like super duper elite defensive tackles. Like he's a guy that when you have a John Allen, it's a really good for him. But when he's going to have to be the guy that carries a little, like we'll see how that goes because the Kinlaw contract, I thought that was just weird.
It
Because
was weird.
he did play better with the Jets than he had with the 49ers, but like not so much that you need to invest this. So like it's gonna be tough sledding on these cornerbacks, man. That's where I think I end up. Now I think you look at the cornerback room, it's not bad. So maybe this is a group that can kind of withhold that. And they did finish I think they finished like top 5 in like success rate or EPA against the pass last year. I don't really see that repeating itself. But Lattimore, Sanders still, and if Trey Amos is the guy that we kind of thought he was pre-draft, that's still a good cornerback room. It's just a lot of stress unless we
Yeah.
see stuff that we haven't seen from their current defensive line in front seven.
Yeah. In Dallas, Dan Quinn became like a man coverage and cover 2 guy. And with this defense and this, you also have Micah Parsons, which really, and a lot of juice actually up front. Demarcus Lawrence, also Odigazua. They had some dudes at corner that could just keep up with those guys. Like this defense, I'm like, are you gonna be a cover 2 team? I don't know. That's not why you trade for Marshawn Lattimore. You want Marshawn Lattimore to get up in people's grills. All right, you're gonna live in man. Okay, so that means you're gonna have Luvu or Bobby Wagner on a running back. And okay, yes, I just made fun of what the Dallas has a running back, but okay, go against your Tyrone Tracy used to be a receiver, and now he's playing running back. Go to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley. You're going to go man coverage on Saquon Barkley with one of your linebackers. And yeah, I sound like I'm just poking at little holes, but guess what? This is what established offensive coordinators with weapons, that's what they're going to do against this defense. They'll find that one little guy that can't hold up. And usually the way that you wipe that away and go, oh, but doesn't matter, we can just do this, is a pass rush. And their pass rush, I'm not optimistic about it. I don't think it's going to be the worst I've ever seen, but I'm just like, I don't know. And I think they're going to be in a lot of games where teams are going to be able to pass. They're going to be a lot of neutral game scripts, or maybe, game scripts where teams are going to be able to run or pass on them. They'll have those options. So I just think that teams, no matter what, are going to be able to find their path of least resistance. So that just puts a lot on the offense that we still have a little bit of question marks with some of their stuff. So it's just that they didn't do, you always have to shore up something. I just was curious with a lot of their moves. The Kinlaw one was especially because I kind of know what he is. And is that like an Adam Peters. I'm the only probably person, Adam Peters. I'm the only person in the world that confuses a GM with an offensive line coach for the Bengals. but that he was maybe, oh, that's my former 49ers guy. Now we get him. He's gonna get unlocked in this defense. So I just have a lot of questions with this unit, even if there's a couple guys I like and a couple things I like about it. I still like Johnny Newton. He's battled injuries, but I still like him. But I got to see it.
Yeah.
I got to see it for a full season to get a jump in this defense. You need those guys to make a jump. And it's just hard to kind of, again, set your clock to. So last thing I'll end on with their defense, where they rank in pressure rate. They were 17th in pressure rate last year among all defenses. And they finished kind of a little bit below that in the second half of the year. Feels about right even this year. 17th, 20th, somewhere in that range, which then I think they have to be a top 10 pressure rate team for me to feel good about this defense just overall. All right. Breakout player. Who do you got for this team? Washington Commanders.
I'm rolling with Trey Amos, the cornerback that they took in the second round of the draft this year. I compared him to AJ Terrell. They had like identical combines. Maybe not the most explosive guy, but just really fluid movement abilities, good ball skills, technically sound. So I think like adding that guy as your third guy, like that's the third guy you add in to Stanford still. And Lattimore, if Lattimore's healthy, that's a good cornerback room. So I think he's going to have his opportunities to break out this year. It might be tough sledding sometimes because we just talked about the pass rush. We don't know how strong it's going to be this year, but that was a good prospect to kind of round out that cornerback trio. So Trey Amos is my breakout player.
Yeah, the high end of the corner room is good. I liked Amos a lot too. He's one of those guys that was like, I don't have a first round grade on him. He was a day two guy in my brain, but it was one of those day two guys I really liked. It's like if I had to pick one of these, green chippers as I put them, I really liked him. So I agree with that pick. I went with their second round pick last year, Johnny Newton, who I just mentioned several times. Newton, couple sacks last year, couple TFLs, had some 7 QB hits as well, which is always a nice sign. Very disruptive player, tough nose, hard player as well. Might have to worry about some late hits. He likes to throw it after the quarterback a little bit. But I just liked him as a player, and I think he could break out because I think he'll get the opportunities to do so. He has way more juice than Kinlaw does. So I think he deserves snaps because I think they need this dynamic kind of presence. So I'm going to go with Johnny Newton out of Illinois. Illinois just trotting out NFL defenders every year now. It's just kind of crazy. All right, over under win total. It's 9.5 this year. Last year was 6.5, and me and Matt may have picked the under on that one. I don't know. Maybe not my best selection ever, but 9.5. What do you got, Charles? Over or under?
This is tough.
I know.
It's just like, I guess like the question is, how much can Jayden Daniels overcome? But we did go under on the Giants, and we over on the Cowboys and over on the Eagles. I think I'm going to go under at 9-8. I'm going to go under. I think they win 8 or 9 games this year.
I'm also going 9-8.
And I don't think it'll be because like Jayden Daniels took a step back or anything. I don't think that would be the reason why, but that's where they end up, I think.
It feels like a similar conversation about the Bengals, where it's like, I have faith in this offense and I have faith in the quarterback. It's the defense.
Yes.
And I'm just like, Bengals have better receivers, but
you know what I could see this looking like? I could see this looking like Dak Prescott's second year in the NFL, where everyone was like super down on him because the counting stats weren't great. And then you look back and you have 70 QBR for the season. That's kind of what I see in store for Jayden Daniels. Like year 2 Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
If you're watching the games, you're like, oh, this dude still has it. but the counting stats might not be, as otherworldly as they were last year.
That's a great call. And they finished 9-7 that year. That's
Yeah.
I remember that year we played them. I was with the Raiders. That was the note card game with Gene.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not bitter at all.
Oh man, the note card game.
Jason
Was the
Witten's
dumbest
patting him
thing
on
I've
the
ever
ass. Oh, and he had a little smirk afterwards. Oh, I'm still bitter about it. Yeah, every time he talks and talks and talks on giving his ruling where he hems and haws, just all I picture is that note card. I also went under, but that's the thing. Commanders fans, just listen, hear me out. This is not a Jayden Daniels slight. This is not a Kliff Kingsbury and is found out and everything. I just think there will be some, even if the offense finishes top 12, which I think is very valid that they can do, even with the question marks we have, the defense just doesn't do a lot for me. And they also have a tougher strength of schedule this year. And that's something we got to keep in our mind too. And their division got better. Eagles are Eagles. Giants aren't going to be a total joke like last year. And the Cowboys got Dak Prescott back. So just even their division's a little tougher. So 9 wins feels 8 to 10 range is perfect. And I think 9 wins is kind of how I feel with this team, because I just think the quarterback's going to have to do a lot, and we'll see if everybody else can help him out.